The 35 selected passengers awaiting release are unceremoniously herded back.
There was a lot of commotion, and I found children and women hurrying back towards the economy class. That's when we realized that things had gone wrong again.
It was a very strange kind of situation which are beyond words.
The talks between them and the Indian government had broken down.
And now they are going to start killing.
Whether they start picking up people individually, shooting them and throwing them out of the aircraft, or taking off with the aircraft and blowing it up in midair.
I remember there was this complete silence in the entire aircraft.
You could not have imagined that there were nearly 200 people sitting in that aircraft.
Is this the final outcome? For the passengers and crew on IC 814, is this journey's end? Negotiations between the hijackers and the Indian negotiators have broken down in Kandahar, Afghanistan. The hijackers have told the passengers that they will now start killing them one at a time. Stunned by the sudden turn of events, the passengers await their fate in deathly silence.
Time kept on ticking by.
There was nothing happening. There was people were sitting. They were anticipating something's going to happen, something's going to happen. But nothing happened.
This guy comes back again and he says, we don't know whose prayers are being answered, but there seems to be a movement back for negotiations.
Then at about, I think, after 3 to 4 hours, we were told that there's a good news for you, that the government of India has agreed to release to our demands, and now you shall be free.
The passengers are to be freed, but at what cost?
As a result of the negotiations with the Taliban and the hijackers, there has been an agreement for the release of all the hostages in exchange for 3 militants.
How many?
3.
The 3 incarcerated terrorists to be freed are Maulana Masood Azhar, who is accused of being a member of the Harkat al-Mujahideen. Omar Sheikh, a British national who studied at the London School of Economics, a devoted follower of Maulana Masood Azhar, who had been arrested on charges of kidnapping foreign nationals in Kashmir. Mushtaq Ahmed Zargar, the chief commander of the militant group Al-Ummah Mujahideen, jailed for terrorist attacks in Kashmir.
I think the end deal was the worst case scenario for India, the worst case scenario. And I believe it was completely unnecessary. It was secured merely because a completely irrational deadline was placed on it. The Prime Minister made that, I think, deeply questionable statement that we didn't want them to spend New Year in captivity.
Supposing we had said, fine, we wash our hands off. The public wouldn't have allowed us to do that. We would be asked to negotiate. And once you negotiate, then this is what you get.
The 3 terrorists are released from prisons in different parts of India and are brought to Delhi, from where they will board a flight to Kandahar. A few hours later, the released terrorist and the hijackers, escorted by Taliban militia, drive away from Kandahar as free men. On board IC 814, the passengers and crew celebrate their freedom. This rare footage, shot by a passenger, captures the mood on board the aircraft, moments after their release.
When they said that you were released, we really felt good and shaking hands. It was wonderful to be in that time, and everybody was hugging each other.
Suddenly, you felt like lifeless, you felt weightless, you were floating around because that severe stress was suddenly gone.
It's New Year's Eve, 8 days after IC-814 was hijacked. All its passengers and crew, except one, are free and safe in India. Their journey complete. At Delhi airport, thousands gather to give the survivors a hero's welcome. But even as the celebrations continue through the night and into the new millennium, a disturbing question remains unanswered. Did the Indian government err in releasing 3 dangerous terrorists in exchange for the lives of the passengers and crew on board IC-814? It's a question that has no correct answer. But if those who made the decision knew then what we know now, would the story of IC-814 have ended differently? Maulana Masood Azhar moved back to Pakistan, where soon after his release, he founded the militant Jaish-e-Mohammed. The Jaish is accused of numerous attacks, including the one on the Indian Parliament on December 13, 2001, which killed 7 innocent people and injured 18 more. They're also held responsible for the attack on the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly. He now lives free in Pakistan. Omar Sheikh has been named one of the key financiers of Mohammed Atta, the pilot of one of the jets that hit the World Trade Center on September 11th. He's presently facing the death sentence for the killing of the American journalist Daniel Poe. Mushtaq Ahmad Zagar is now in Muzaffarabad, the capital of Pakistan-administered Kashmir. He's reportedly engaged in reviving his militant group Al-Ummah Mujahideen. It is now known that the 5 hijackers are Pakistani nationals, reportedly living free in Pakistan. Interpol and the Indian Central Bureau of Investigation have made formal requests to the Pakistan government to arrest and extradite the hijackers. But these requests have gone unheeded. Little is known of what the hijackers did after December 1999. IC-814 was clearly their moment of glory. How the hijackers managed to smuggle on board their guns and grenades has never been conclusively established. However, after the hijacking of IC-814, the Nepalese government reviewed and tightened security measures at Kathmandu's Tribhuvan International Airport. Indian Airlines, which had suspended its flights to Nepal, resumed operations 6 months later, but it now conducts secondary pre-boarding security checks on all its passengers using its own personnel. And the government of India decided to introduce sky marshals on select flights. The passengers on the plane returned to their normal lives, but were forever changed in some way by the events of those 8 days on board IC-814.
You learn to respect very simple things like one full glass of water, or having 5 meters to walk, even clean air to breathe. Actually, even that is something you respect.
There are times I wake up at night with cold sweat and a feeling that I'm still sitting in my chair. When you are sitting there, you realize how lonely loneliness can be.
It has affected me badly. I was scared. I used to get dreams. Everything is written strongly on my mind. Nothing has been fade out.